And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to The Peaceful Truth, the podcast where we talk about everything from women empowerment, feminism, and everything in between. You are joined by your host, Kenzie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for yet another week at The Peaceful Truth. I wanted to start off this episode with an update about the podcast. So the podcast switched to every other Thursday recently. And I might be taking the next few Thursdays off for the holiday season. One, to regroup, 2 to like reset goals, and 3 to like really get this podcast organized. It's hard to run by myself, and I really just want to be my best self to produce the best content. And I feel like I need to sit back and reflect on the podcast and what to do in the future and plan for it a little bit more. So it is a temporary break. I don't know if I'm going to do it these next few Thursdays or the following, but I just wanted to let everyone know that might happen, and there isn't any confusion as to where I went or what happened. We will be back, but I might be back in the next few weeks anyway, because I want to do an episode. Haven't decided, but I wanted to start off with that update. And today we are going to play a game called Persist the Game. I'm going to read the objectives. It is be the most persistent by earning cards from ranked life values to reach all milestones. It is a game, I believe, that's focused on women empowerment, which is really cool. And it's a box, and it's a box of cards, and the cards include life values. So the life values include career, health, leisure, and relationships. So there's all these different life values, and you play these different themes within the deck. It's pretty cool. It's called Persist, and I also believe it's a woman-owned company. So check it out. But I wanted to play a few of the cards. So again, the life values are leisure, health, relationships, and career. I picked out a few that might be fun, and then I shuffled them at random. So the first one I have at the top is leisure, and it is sharing. So I'm supposed to share my answer to this for you guys. And you typically play with 3 people, but I picked sharing and would you rather because I feel like that I can just share with my listeners and play part of the game that way. So sharing, if you could either repeal or enact legislation affecting women's issues, what would you pick and why? And this is under the leisure life value. If I could either repeal or enact legislation, I feel like I'm in between a few things, but I think my final answer would be sweeping legislation that would equalize pay altogether. I think another top one that I have is maternity and paternity leave legislation, of making it a mandatory thing that for paid maternity and paternity thing across different corporations. So that is what I would do. Let's do a different category. So another one I have at the top is relationships. And again, it's the category sharing. So it's actually what I just answered. But how much family leave should be provided to new parents? Whoa, I haven't been in the shoes, so I feel like I'm not perfect at answering that question. I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 months. I feel like 3 months is enough body recovery time, but 5 months really allows you time to settle in. And if you're a new parent, especially, really adapt to that new baby in your lifestyle and the change of lifestyle. And just for you to be able to bond with your child. So that is what I would share. And again, that was under relationships. Let's do a would you rather question. I'm trying to search. Okay. This one's under health. Would you rather give up your morning joe or an evening cocktail? Ugh, this one's hard. Oh man, I don't have a drink every night. So I feel like I could give up my evening cocktail, but I couldn't give up my morning coffee. I feel like if I gave up my morning coffee, I would be really grumpy toward everyone, and it would not be in an ideal environment for anyone to live with me living without coffee. I think I would just be quiet for several hours until I woke up a little bit. But yeah, there are some days where I definitely would have picked the cocktail over the morning Joe, because I feel like not every day I need a coffee. And sometimes if I have a tough day, I really want a cocktail. But at the end of the day, I think I could live without alcohol. Okay, let's do another relationship one. Would you rather date a dozen people before finding your mate or settle down fresh out the gate? I feel like my experience is a little interesting. My first boyfriend was like my first serious boyfriend, and he was from high school to college. And I thought I dated him for like 5 or 6 years, something like that. And I thought he was going to be the one. And I thought I just wanted to settle down right out of the gate. But we broke up, and I have dated a lot of people since. And now I'm in a relationship that I'm very happy about. So I feel like I've learned a lot about what I want out of a partner by dating a lot of different people, and just going out there and learning more about myself and being single for a period and allowing myself to make decisions to form who I truly am as a person. And I feel like I have less curiosity about what's out there, what have I missed, because I know who I am, and I know I could still pursue those things with the partner that I pick. And I feel like I like my life now of what it turned out to be. And I feel like I could probably predict the other life I would have had. Not saying that it would have been bad, but I like how exciting and how much I pursued and persisted different things throughout life. So I'd rather date a dozen people. Okay. Let's do more sharing. And this one, I don't know if we've done the career category yet. Sharing. If you could study anything, whether or not it would advance your career, what would it be? I have one answer that I'm like super interested in that I would like to study, and it would advance my career. I would like to fully study like videography and the technical parts of shooting and editing. I was more of the content side of studying, like journalism and studying how to craft a story and write, and the structure of like what is actually going to be said and how to do that well. And I think I would have also liked to have learned the technical things. I mean, I do my best with setting this up and putting together the podcast, and I have minor knowledge, but I would really love to enhance that knowledge and just be a complete expert in that side of it too, of the technical and directing and the vision parts of filming and editing and that sort of a thing. So that is one thing I would like to study. Another random ass thing that I would love to study is like I don't know, would it be horticulture or landscaping? I don't know what it would be, but like, I might have said all of those things wrong. I apologize, but I would like to design, like floral things. Like if I didn't get my bachelor's degree, I would really want to be a florist, and not saying that it's one or the other to be a florist. I think I would like to study how to make flower arrangements. Really random, but I think it's something I would like to do. Okay. Let's do another would you rather. Those are kind of fun. Would you rather go vegetarian for a year or give up carbs for a year? So clearly I would never give up carbs because I went vegetarian for a year. Although carbs would probably be healthier. Well, actually, I don't know. It depends. But being a vegetarian, I feel like I haven't noticed a big health difference. I did it for environmental reasons. And I know a lot of people do notice a big health difference. And I know that's like not a positive thing to share if I'm trying to convince people of being a vegetarian. But I would easily rather have the bread in my life. So I would definitely be a vegetarian. Let's see. Ooh, I think this one's good, and I think these questions are good for you to reflect on too when you're listening. But sharing, and this one's under the health category. So what is your favorite thing about yourself? I will name 2 things, mentally and physically. Mentally, I like how determined I am and how hard I persist something. I don't mean to keep bringing up the word persist, but it keeps happening. And then my favorite physical attribute about myself is my butt. Really like my butt. Another sharing one. Let's do another sharing one. This one's under leisure. And it says, share your best food experience. Oh gosh. I love food. I love eating. I am getting into cooking and specializing in more vegetarian creativity type dishes and being creative in that. But my best food experience was I went to Paris and I went on a European trip with one of my best friends in Seattle. And I spontaneously decided to book the trip with her. And when I went, she was more into like discovering things more organically. And I'm more of like I have to book like the stereotypical trip things and kind of be a tourist and like experience the bigger parts of that city. And so we kind of split up for the day. And while I was by myself, I went on a couple's food tour in Paris by myself. And like this older couple like adopted me and basically acted like I was their kid and I was tagging along with them and they talked to me the whole time. But what the food tour was about was like going to these different shops and picking out some of the best produce and the best desserts at these random storefronts in Paris, and then going to a cellar and drinking wine and eating all those foods that we went and learned about and then tried them. And I would say that is my favorite food experience of my life. I will do 2 more. One is about health. So what is my biggest fear about pregnancy? I think my biggest fear is like delivery and pushing one out and how painful that will be and like the needle going into my back, like those things. But I also think some of my fears would be like my partner being at the end of the bed watching it happen. I'd be like, nope, come up here because I don't want you to like see everything down there and be like, oh, I remember that when you're trying to be intimate later and that's all they're thinking about. Like that's what I would worry about. Or like I would also feel, I think it's terrifying because I think you poop. I've heard you poop after you give birth. And it's not something you can control. And I just find that really scary. I don't want to poop in front of a room of people that I can't control, but it's worth it for the miracle of life, I guess. Ugh, I don't want to do that part. Another relationship one, sharing, and this will be my final one. What are my thoughts about the custom of having females change their last name after marriage? Oh, this one. As a feminist, and then also as just a person, I have complex feelings about this. There are days where I like really want to keep my names and days where I'm like not as married to the idea about it. But I like see the pros and cons. For me, the pro and cons are, and it can vary, just you can love it because it's tradition and that's completely fine. But I think my pros for changing my last name would be, I like the idea that it kind of tracks like the family heritage and how like the family tree and how that delineates. But then at the same time, I'm like, that's archaic and you can now easily figure that out via technology and I should be my own person and keep my last name and all this stuff. And I shouldn't have to take someone's last name because I should. But I don't know. I haven't like, I don't know. Like if it were the matriarchy, would I feel, and it wasn't a patriarchy, would I feel upset about the last name change because he had to take my last name? I don't know. I don't really know these things. I don't know how I feel quite yet on that. So that is a little sample of Persist the Game. I wanted to just shout out a female-owned board game that was founded about women empowerment, and you can find it online. So what am I looking forward to this week? This week, I am looking forward to Thanksgiving and being creative on my first year as a vegetarian and not eating meat. We will see how that goes. But thank you so much. I want you to think about what you're looking forward to this week. Thank you so much for tuning in for yet another episode. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.